There were deaths at our shows.
That last year too, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but there was a couple of deaths too, wasn't there?
There were deaths at our shows. And it wasn't just in the last year. Yeah, there was probably, I think, 4 or 5 over the whole period. And it was something that, it was like this ghost that was haunting us because we're always just like, it's going to happen sooner or later. How am I going to feel about this? How am I going to deal with this? Like, throwing parties on it, it's not important. You know, it's not like someone's going to die. And funnily enough, when it happened, it sounds a bit cold, but I remember the police sergeant saying, there's nothing you can do about this. These people are actually taking this in a more controlled environment, what you're providing, and we can't fault you in what you're providing. There's security, there's medics, everything's here. They've just had an episode. And when you have 40,000, 60,000, that is just the odds it's going to happen. So they're better off doing that out in a controlled environment than at home where no one can kind of save them or help them. But there were circumstances like, 40-degree days in Adelaide where we lost one. And yeah, look, it's horrific. And it was probably more horrific for our staff who were there and literally seeing it. I have been in those situations where you see it. But for me, it's just one of those games of odds, and if I felt like we'd not done the right thing, I probably would have carried it with us. And I look back at things like, remember that there was a really horrible circumstance at Big Day Out where a 16-year-old girl
crushed at Limp Bizkit, yeah. And that to me was, everything's harrowing, but that to me really would have haunted me because I would have thought, right, we should have had, better crowd control. We should have done it. But when someone's ODing on a hot day and they've got other medical issues, what can you do? And unfortunately, you're right. Like, what can you do? Like, I think every festival that's got to that level has had to happen at some point.